nice matchup after a physical game against Clemson. In fact, they only lifted weights on Monday, practiced for 45 minutes on Tuesday, had a short shoot around here today. And he said that although Marquise Bolden is good to go, he has a broken nose. He told me, guys, before the game that he's not going to wear the mask because he doesn't like the way it fits. But with Marvin Bagley missing his 4th straight game, there's another injury that Duke will have to deal with tonight.
Yeah. All right, Maria, thank you. They describe it as a small fracture, something that Bolden should be able to play through. Great officiating crew tonight. Roger Ayers, Michael Stevens, and Ed Corbett. And here in Durham, we are ready for the tip of our Sonic blockbuster. Duke in white, Louisville in black. The only regular season meeting between these two programs, and we're underway here at Cameron. For Duke, with Marvin Bagley III out tonight, Javin DeLaurier will get the start, his 2nd consecutive start. Javon Duval misses the 3, and Ray Spalding down with a rebound for Louisville.
Adell started out the game guarding Grayson Allen. That puts a lot of length and athleticism on Allen out front.
And Duke, as you said, Jay, they are in the zone. They've become almost exclusively a zone team here at this point of the season. Louisville does a really nice job dissecting it. B.J. King with the bucket.
Well, great pass into Anas Mahmoud, who's 7 feet tall and an excellent passer in the middle. And you can see Duke trying to stay with Louisville's shooters. They are more concerned with perimeter shooting from Louisville and making threes out of the zone than they are initially at Anas Mahmoud in the middle.
Yeah, Louisville played Syracuse earlier this season, and in the last 6-7 minutes of the game with Mahmoud in the middle, they did some nice things offensively. Knocked away by Duval. And numbers now for Duke. It's going to be a wide open look for Trent.
Well, that's the guy you want taking threes early on the game for Javon Duval. Been 2 threes taken, and that's not a strength of his. He's shooting under 30% for 3 on the season. Both these teams in ACC play, their numbers just about mirror one another on both ends of the floor. It's really remarkable. The big difference is rebounding.
Mahmoud with a turnover, and Duval with a flush.
Both Duval and Allen very aggressive in the top of that zone and looking for steals. They're long. They're both athletic. And these are 2 pretty darn good steals teams, both near the top of the ACC, at least in ACC games.
Mahmoud gets a touch at the elbow. Bounce pass into Spalding off the side of the backboard.
Rushed that one. Wendell Carter was right there, but 2 bigs. When it goes to the elbow, the other elbow dives to the basket. That's tough for the zone to guard.
What a nice driving layup by Grayson Allen.
In years past, when Grayson Allen, he's always been a fearless driver, but in years past, he would spend a lot of time on his back. And this year, he has been much more in balance when he's driven. Goes into contact, gets to the free throw line, finishes plays much better.
Mahmoud with the screen, King the kick, Snyder the shot fake, and the pull-up off the back of the iron.
And rebounding may be the biggest factor in this game. Louisville has not rebounded well on both ends of the floor.
A hot start for Grayson Allen, just as he had against Clemson over the weekend. 17 first-half points in a hard-fought win for the Blue Devils over the Tigers.
Well, he's just a different player over the last 3 games. Giving him the ball and moving him to the point has, I don't know whether it's re-energized him, but he's been totally different. 22 points a game the last 3.
Spalding gets right into the paint and lays it in with a left hand.
Well, Wendell Carter Jr. had to pick. He had along the baseline Anas Mahmoud, and then when Ray Spalding caught it there, if he came up, he was going to drop it down. If not, Spalding was able to shoot it. Spalding has had a terrific year.
Rebounding numbers way up. Good defensive year as well. Carter, a lot of dribbling, and he'll turn it over. 4-on-3 Louisville.
Good pass. Well, that pass was made because Ray Spalding ran the floor so hard. And the defense had to go with him. That left B.J. King wide open.
Long stretch without a whistle here in the opening minutes of the game. Gary Trent Jr., who is having an incredible stretch, shooting the 3, comes into this game 44 for his last 77 from beyond the arc.
It's almost like he never misses. He's averaging just about 50% from the field. In ACC play, it's remarkable how well he shoots the ball.
Adell tries to answer at the other end. Spalding, a nice rebound, but then an errant pass.
I don't know what he was doing. Just corral the ball.
Allen rejected by Anas Mahmoud, one of the best shot blockers in the nation.
Good pass.
And
wow.
The finish and the foul for Spalding.
What a spectacular pass by Quentin Snyder, and then the finish by Ray Spalding. Quentin Snyder just knows how to play.
Okay, the 2013 National Championship, the 2012 Final Four, those banners have come down. That championship has been vacated. 123 wins have been stricken from the record. Your thoughts on the process, the penalty, and the situation as a whole?
Well, I'm not surprised. The rules changed years ago in appeals. It was very unlikely that Louisville was going to be successful in its appeal, and that's what the NCAA does. You know, when there's ineligible players used, they vacate wins, they vacate banners. They do. There's the first championship that's ever been vacated in men's basketball, but it was predictable. It's still sad and really unfortunate. We could certainly talk about the policy of vacating wins and whether it's an appropriate deterrent, but it is not a surprising result given the way the NCAA operates.
Let's get more from Maria Taylor.
Well, Della Ding told me that he got an email at about noon to let him know that they were going to be meeting about whether or not these wins were going to be vacated. And he said immediately coaches wanted them to know that it has nothing to do with them. In 2013, they were not even there. And right now, this team is trying to play with the bunker mentality and enjoy being on the road, being away from Louisville for a while, and realizing that this decision does not dictate the way their season ends, guys.
And it's a fair point. Coach Padgett, David Padgett, made that point to us today, that it doesn't directly involve any of these players. And maybe getting on the court and getting a game to play is a slight reprieve for the current group of Louisville Cardinals, but this is a final decision. That banner is down. That championship is vacated. The appeal has been denied. Meanwhile, the big dunk by Wendell Carter Jr., and it is 12-6 for the Blue Devils.
It's off an offensive rebound. Right now, Duke is dominating the glass at both ends of the floor. And that's really the biggest issue for Louisville in this game. Can Louisville rebound with Duke? Because Louisville's not rebounded well all season long.
McMahon with a steal and a lead pass ahead to V.J. King, who brings the Cardinals back within 4.
Louisville is very long and they're very athletic. And they do a nice job protecting the rim. It's really, Dan, I think surprising that Louisville's not been a better rebounding team. That's usually been a strength of the Cardinals. And this year it has been a weakness.
They are not that bulky up front, but as you mentioned, they are incredibly long, especially Mahmoud and Spalding.
And Dingadell as well.
Yeah. I think that was a pass from Trent to Bolden, but Bolden didn't know it. Got to keep an eye on this guy. McMahon, a sharpshooter, tries to throw one over the top, and it's out of bounds. Now, some great action coming your way Saturday. Let's take a look at the slate on ESPN. Game day will be in Lubbock, Texas, a game that could decide the Big 12 regular season title. Kansas and Texas Tech, Syracuse here at Cameron, to Missouri, Kentucky at 8:15 Eastern, and then finish off your night out of the Pac-12 with Arizona and Oregon. That's a pretty good lineup.
That's a great lineup. I can't wait to get to Lubbock and see Texas Tech take on Kansas. Keenan Evans is one of the best players in the country that doesn't get near the attention that he deserves. He is one of a handful of the best guards in America.
They've had a great year, Texas Tech has, and boy, Kansas looked good in their win over Oklahoma on a Monday night, didn't they? There's Ryan McMahon, the pride of Sarasota, Florida, and we mentioned just an outstanding shooter, 46% from beyond the arc in ACC games. He's a specialist. Everybody knows it. But if he can free himself, he's going to knock it down.
Well, 23 of his 30 field goals in ACC play are threes. You have to run him off that line. Grayson Allen has been fantastic.
Pass taken away by Trent. Carter with a drive. Tough shot. And down with the rebound, Spalding.
Anas Mahmoud can really move his feet. He stayed right with Wendell Carter.
McMahon, not this time.
Duke can have some opportunities to run the ball up the floor quicker. When McMahon fell down after that shot, Duke got numbers, but walked it up the floor. Louisville, for the most part, has been in man-to-man. They went one possession to zone, and they can switch from zone to man. Great outlet pass.
And it sets up a 2-on-1, and Spalding, no foul call, got it back and lays it in.
Ray Spalding has played very well all season long, but especially of late. His last 4 games coming into this game, 22 of 35 from the field, 63%. Had 18 points, 12 rebounds against North Carolina. He was by far the best player for Louisville that day.
And Carolina beat him by 17 in Louisville. Carolina with another road win tonight at Syracuse just before us as Carter gets another slam.
Mahmoud just sold out there, tried to go for the steal and gave up the dunk. Sometimes you just got to stay behind if you can't stop it from getting in there. That is a low percentage steal opportunity for Anas Mahmoud.
Duke staying in the zone. Turnaround by Adele.
Boy, that was really well run. Ray Spalding stepped out. Anas Mahmoud along the baseline, and then Deng Adele just shot right into the lane from the left side, and there was nobody there to pick him up. That was a good overload by Louisville.
And again, they had a chance to play Syracuse earlier, so they saw 2-3 for the entire game there. So they knew what they were going to see coming into this one. Allen about 4 steps behind the line.
Grayson Allen is absolutely on fire.
Nice pass. McMahon. Spalding. The kick to Adele. And a 3-second call will take us to the under 12 media timeout. When we come back, a very special guest announced yesterday.
Well, yes. That spanned a while,
yes,
didn't it?
He didn't like either one.
Congratulations on an extraordinary 36-year run. I mean, there are so many people, fans, people who do what I do, who just think the world of you.
Well, thank you. And coming from someone like you, who I admire so much and listen to all the time, that's great. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Do you remember the first time you ever walked into this building to do a game?
I was awestruck almost every time I came here. This is such an unbelievable venue for basketball. It is one of the last surviving places where they're not going to change it because they love it the way it is.
Right.
What, you could build a 30,000 seat stadium here and you'd sell it out immediately, but they're not going to do that. This is Duke. This is the way it's supposed to be in their mind, and it's just special.
There was a great piece about you on SportsCenter. Reese Davis narrated it, some of the highlights of your career.
That was so nice.
It was terrific. Is there, I know this is a tough question to ask, but is there one moment of your career that stands above all others, just being in the moment?
It was the 1995 ACC tournament. Randolph Childress. You think of all the brilliant players that came through the ACC. Players of the year, 4-time All-Americans, nation's leading scorer, whatever. And Randolph Childress outdid them all in the ACC tournament, averaged 37.5 points a game. For that weekend, he was the best player on the planet.
See, I thought it was that. Billis thought it was a jump hook over Doherty that he hit back in 1980.
Well, that was second.
When you look back at the different eras that you broadcast in ACC basketball, what would you say was the best of the eras, if you could?
I just think it was before expansion. Every game, there'd be 6 or 7 ACC teams in the top 15 every week. So every game meant something,
right.
Not only in the conference, it meant something nationally. And people go from 15th to 9th or 9th to 15 and be crushed by the drop. And there were just so many good teams and so many legendary coaches all competing against each other. Every game was absolute magic.
I remember sitting in my dorm room watching you broadcast a North Carolina game in Cole Fieldhouse at Maryland. And late in the game, Michael Jordan, I think it was a steal or something, he went the other way and did this cradle dunk, which people didn't do back then. And your reaction was priceless. We couldn't wait to see it. There was no all-day SportsCenter back then. We couldn't wait to see it again.
I had never seen it before. And I remember saying, what was that? It was certainly the sign of things to come, wasn't it?
It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. As you have been for all these years.
Mike Patrick joining us here in the booth tonight at Cameron. What was it like being on the court here at Cameron for that ceremony a little bit earlier?
I have been known to get misty over a good haircut, and it was... I have spent the whole day going between laughing and crying. People calling me on the phone I haven't talked to in years, best friends, guys I didn't even remember, coaches who I met once. And I have just been staggered by the response.
Well, that's a tremendous compliment, not only to your ability as a broadcaster, but also the way, just the person you are. I mean, everybody has nothing but kind words to say about you and the way that you dealt with them. We saw you down on the court for a long time, talking to Tim Two, one of our great cameramen before the game, one of the best guys in the business, and you've always had a moment for everybody, and that's I'm sure that was a big reason why you got all those phone calls.
We have had the best technicians going back to the Jefferson Pilot days. These guys only cared about how good the show looked. They didn't care if anybody got the credit for it. They just worked their fannies off, and they did it every night, and it was such a thrill to walk in and see these guys.
Well, nobody elevated the people he worked with better than you did, Mike, and you might want to give some notes to Dan if you wouldn't mind.
Actually, Mike, as someone who's gone through the Vitale and the Billis experience, maybe you and I
Don't forget Theismann.
Could I get a little of your time later on? Mike, thank you. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on an extraordinary run.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Jay,
great to be with you, my friend.
Thank you.
The great Mike Patrick. We'll be back.
You're a brave man, Mr. Stevens. Your testimony.
Tonight's Sonic blockbuster, Mr. Billis. Grayson Allen's off to a terrific start.
Grayson Allen has been outstanding from the opening tap. He's been in complete control of what he's doing. Duke is dominating the glass, and he is seeing a big basket, picking up where he left off in the last 3 games. And you can see the smile on his face right now. He is in a totally different rhythm now than he was in the first 11 ACC games.
And Delorier knocks it down. It's an 11-point lead for the Blue Devils. Our thanks again to Mike Patrick for coming in and spending some time with us. You get a chance to work with him a fair bit, and that must have been terrific.
Well, it was a dream come true because Mike used to do a lot of the games that I played in back in the day when he did Jefferson Pilot games, ESPN games, all the way back to the JP broadcast one year, the Holly Farms Player of the Game.
I mean, think about, we call it the NFL, college football, college basketball, the women's Final Four for years and years, the College World Series baseball. I mean, he just as talented and versatile a guy as there has been.
And never about him. It was always about the people he was covering and the games he was covering. 2-3 zone now for Louisville. And they are long and athletic in this zone, and it can go to man. Sometimes there'll be a trigger. It may go inside. They go to man. Late in the clock, they go to man.
Duval, difficult pass into Delorier, and a beautiful feed to Bolden.
What a beautiful pass. I don't know how it even got through there by Javon Duval.
Remember, Marvin Bagley III not playing again and missing his 4th consecutive game with a sprained knee, so more minutes available for both Bolden and Delorier. Boy, what a follow there by Spalding.
Well, Louisville's going to have to get on the glass. It's a team that does not offensive rebound like its length and athleticism would say it should. They only have a 25% offensive rebound rate. That's near the bottom of the ACC, while Duke is at the top.
Duval for 3.
Well, that's his 3rd 3 of this game. He's not a prolific three-point shooter. He's taken a lot of them.
Just 27% on the season.
It's still a little bit odd to see Duke go to a 2-3 zone every time. It's like Syracuse South.
And the foul is going to go on Delorier.
Well, Trayvon Duval is 2nd now in the ACC in assists. That was just a bullet. It was thrown like almost like a quarterback would throw a pass that only the receiver can catch, can't be picked off. That thing was almost rising, and a really good catch by Javon Delorier, and another good pass by him. That's one of those that Duval threw that I think should be, I would like in basketball for there to be a hockey assist, the pass that leads to the assist. You must like Canadians can get into that, can't they?
Nothing gets us revved up like the hockey assist.
The hockey assist.
8th turnover committed by Louisville already.
And it's been turnovers and rebounding that's really hurt Louisville in this game thus far.
Cardinals are 18-9 on the season. They're 8-6 in the ACC. They've got wins at Florida State, at Notre Dame. They've beaten Virginia Tech, but they could really use another win or 2 over teams that look like they're headed to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it is not a done deal that Louisville's in the NCAA tournament.
See, Joe Lunardi's got him as a 10 right now. They don't have any really ugly losses, but they could use a couple more nice quality wins. And the good news, I guess, about being in the ACC is you're always going to get a chance to pick up a quality win because of how good the league is, but it's not going to be easy to get it.
And the ball's gone into the middle of the zone. Here's another really good play getting the ball inside. Wendell Carter Jr. is a big-time player. A big-time player. When he spins, goes to that jump hook over his right shoulder. One, that is not an easy thing to execute. He's got great post moves. The only thing that I think from watching from afar that he could do a better job is make a quicker move. Once he gets the ball, I don't think he needs to pause for poise all the time. You know where the defense is and attack it right away. He's got a terrific jump hook over both shoulders. He's got a turnaround jumper. He's got a great touch. He can shoot it from 3. And he's just scratching the surface of how good he's going to be, and he's awfully good now.
A little more space in there for him without Bagley out with a knee injury again. If Carter didn't play with a Bagley, everybody in the country would be going, oh my God, look how good this Carter guy is. But Bagley's almost overshadowed him just a little bit.
Good screen against the zone. Nobody came up to pick up BJ King. Every time Louisville's getting the ball into the middle of the zone, Duke's making that middleman. It's been Ray Spalding at times, and making that guy make a play, and they're staying with perimeter shooters. They're not going to give up a 3 on a kickout.
Mahmoud has gone to the bench with 2 fouls, so Spalding in the middle of the defense right now. Carter kicks it out. Allen's got a good look and gets the bounce.
Another great pass. Wendell Carter Jr. had a shot. He could have taken it. A lot of people would argue he should have. I might be one of them, but he saw that Grayson Allen had a better shot, and you're not going to get a more wide open 3 on a kick out than that. Louisville's got to cover up better.
Adele, nice bounce pass inside. Spalding, no. Follow, no. Jack White corrals it for Duke. All right, Carter working hard inside, and it winds up with Malik Williams getting called.
The zone that Louisville's playing.
Yeah, they just don't have to settle right now because they can basically get about whatever they want. And that's when they're at their best. And Louisville's got to match up and keep making the next pass, try to knock down a couple outside shots.
Dan, Jay, back to you guys.
All right, Adnan, thank you. We'll look at tonight's game. It's a 15-point lead for Duke. One of the reasons Louisville turnover prone, another reason Duke getting on the offensive glass and capitalizing on those opportunities.
Yeah, I figured that rebounding was going to be a gigantic part of this game. I didn't anticipate that Louisville would cough the ball up like this. I mean, there's no chance to win on the road if you can't rebound and if you turn the ball over and give runouts.
How many dunks have the Blue Devils had tonight? That one for Jack White, and now a foul called as McMahon gets tied up by Duval. Jack White's kind of worked his way into the rotation in recent games, getting a lot of the minutes that Alex O'Connell has gotten at times.
He did it in the Notre Dame game.
Yes, yeah. Played about 14 minutes, had a couple of big buckets, a couple of big rebounds in that game, and he's been playing every game since.
The middle of this 2-3 zone is wide open. But Duke has done a really good job of staying with shooters. So the middleman, when he catches it, that's the guy that's got to make a play.
B.J. King misses the open 3, and Ray Spalding gets called for the foul. Tip off your weekend with an NBA Friday doubleheader. 8 Eastern, the Timberwolves in Houston to take on the Rockets. And then at 10:30 Eastern, it'll be the Mavericks and the Lakers from Los Angeles. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 o'clock on ESPN and, of course, on the ESPN app.
Don't you think Kyle Kuzma of the Lakers, who played at Utah, he's got to be the biggest steal of the draft?
I think so, yeah. I mean, think about Kuzma, Pirtle, and DeLon Wright, all doing well in the NBA and all played for Utah at the same time.
Did you say Utes?
The Utes. 15-point lead, Blue Devils. They've won 3 in a row, all without Bagley. Duval, his 4th attempt gets it to go. Both he and Allen have used a lot of the rim on a 3-pointer and have seen it go down.
And right now, Louisville cannot get stops. They can't get rebounds. And they're turning the ball over at a crazy high rate.
A couple of challenges defensively, and the Cardinals can't convert. Back come the Blue Devils.
And Louisville's just not strong with the ball. They're getting their mitts on it, but not keeping it.
How good is this guy?
He's got everything, absolutely everything. You know, Duke is starting to look like a team that can win this whole thing. Last 3 games, they're showing it. Second chance opportunities, and then Grayson Allen has been spectacular in this ball game to start.
Louisville very cold from the perimeter as well. Duval. Great look to Trent. And Carter with a mismatch on King. Turns it over. And the foul call will go against Grayson Allen, trying to keep King away from the rim. And the Blue Devils fans don't like it.
Well, B.J. King was using that off arm to try to ward off Grayson Allen. So I think that Mike Krzyzewski was saying, wait a minute, what's he going to do? He's being pushed by the off arm. And there's a lot going on that play. But Louisville's got to get something going. They got to get stops first. I mean, to give up 42 points at this point in the game, that's a lot of points to give up.
A concern for Louisville, having lost 4 of their last 6, trailing here tonight. If you look at their schedule over the next couple of weeks to finish off the regular season, they go to Virginia Tech. Hokies are playing well. Picked up a nice win over Clemson tonight. Then they're home to Virginia, and then they go to Raleigh to finish up the regular season against the Wolfpack. That is not an easy stretch.
Not at all. And the numbers in ACC play for Louisville are good overall, except for one, and that's the rebounding number. And it's surprising that a team this athletic is getting beaten so badly on the glass. I mean, North Carolina really crushed Louisville on the glass, especially the offensive glass.
Carolina with another win tonight, went up to the Carrier Dome. Syracuse made a run at him in the second half, but the Tar Heels held them off, and Carolina simply playing their best basketball of the season. They are 11-5 right now in the ACC and rounding into form nicely for Brooklyn.
Well, remember, they were 5-5 on February 8th when they played Duke. And I think that North Carolina in that game really found something. They started playing at another gear.
Think the rematch will be any fun?
I think it always is, isn't it?
A week from Saturday, right here.
Was that a rhetorical question?
Into the final minute of the first half that's been dominated by Duke.
Even though Grayson Allen missed that, he shot a really good ball there. The rotation was beautiful.
A block by Carter. And another one, but they'll call it a goaltend, so count the bucket.
Well, even though that was called a goaltend, Wendell Carter showing everybody he's there. Wipes the first one away, knocks it back out. And I didn't think the second one was a goaltend, but we're 800 feet above. It's hard to tell.
Up in the crow's nest here at Cameron. 17-point lead Duke, and this is the 4th consecutive game, Jay, where Grayson Allen's playing really well.
Well, he has really found something with his new role. He's had a leadership role all season long as the only senior on this basketball team, but being moved to the point guard position where he's initiating offense out top. The defense has to come out and get him because he's such a good shooter, and he's looked like a completely different player the last 3 games. Look, he's had a good year. He's done some really good things. He has not shot the ball well up until the last few games, but the last 3 games has been the Grayson Allen of old, where he's knocking down everything he puts up.
ACC Player of the Week a week ago. Keep it right here after the game tonight for Sports Center at Night with Linda Cohn and John Anderson. Among the stories, Kyrie's challenge, Irving's goal for the Celtics. What's going on with Kawhi Leonard? Sounds like he may not be coming back. And why Josh Rosen has dropped in Mel Kiper's mock draft. Sports Center next on ESPN and the ESPN app. Just a couple of seconds between the game clock and the shot clock.
It means you can just take it down even further and still have an opportunity for an offensive rebound.
Drive by Allen. Trying to get it up top to Carter, and both Carter and Allen are saying that ball was deflected. But the officials don't have anything. They don't say that they saw that, so it'll be Louisville ball.
Yeah, they made the call. There's no review until the last 2 minutes of the game, not the half.
King for three. And that'll bring the first half to a close, dominated by the Blue Devils, especially after the opening minutes, and they will go to the half up by 17 on Louisville. We'll send it to the Alfa Romeo halftime report with Adnan and the guys after these messages. Frank, quite one-sided in the first half. It's a 17-point lead here to Cameron for the Blue Devils. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Maria Taylor with us as well. Welcome back to Durham. And what were the keys for Duke to take such a big lead?
Well, Duke did a really good job defensively. I know they shot 51%. Grayson Allen had 13, 10 for Wendell Carter Jr. But the defense was really the difference in the game. They put some full court pressure on. They did a really nice job in their 2-3 zone of staying with shooters. And Louisville was just not strong with the ball in the first half. They turned it over 8 times. That led to runouts. They didn't rebound well. They had the ball in their hands a number of times, didn't keep it. And Louisville had opportunities in the lane near the rim, and they weren't able to finish plays. I don't think Louisville would have the lead under any circumstance with how they play, but if they were stronger, they would be a heck of a lot closer in this one.
Let's get a courtside report now. Here's Maria.
Well, Dan, Coach Patchett just grabbed his entire team together and said, all I want for the next 20 minutes is all-out effort. Coming out of the locker room, he said there was an alertness and an attention to detail on the defensive end that was certainly missing, so he wants to see that in the second half. And I asked about Dangadell only having 2 points in the first half. He said his offense will come. He doesn't want to stress him right now.
Maria, thank you. Ready now for the start of the second half of our Sonic blockbuster. Louisville with the first possession. Also not much of a contribution to the first half from Anas Mahmoud either. He struggled against Carolina in Louisville's last game. Adele for 3 and a good start for the Cardinals.
A much better zone offense, getting the ball along the baseline, kicking it out to Adele, who was ready to shoot the ball. And Adele's so long and athletic. He had 20 points in his last outing. He missed a couple games with an ankle injury. But he's a really good player, and he's got to put points on the board in order for Louisville to have a chance. Dangadell averages about 16 a game. That was his 40th 3 on the season. But he passed the ball in and then moved and was ready to shoot when he caught it. And now that he's knocked one down, if you close out to him, he can use a little shot fake, go by you.
The 2-3 zone again for Duke. They've been in it all night long. Follow not there for Mahmoud.
And again, the ball was right there for Anas Mahmoud, and just didn't go get it. I'm a little surprised that Dangadell, when he made that drive, he took the shot going away from the basket. His drive was taking him to the sideline. He shot the ball going that way instead of just stopping and going up.
Trent splits the defense. Couple of opportunities for the Blue Devils, and they are going to get another possession.
And Louisville just, for some reason, can't seem to grab the ball on the defensive glass. It's really unusual. You know, they've always been a good rebounding team, and this year, for some reason, they have not been.
18-footer Duval.
He's taken a lot of what I would call questionable shots. It's not that Duval can't make those shots, but they're not the shots you would want him taking.
Quentin Snyder, kind of a quiet first half for the Cardinals, is where their floor general. And I mean, for them to be good, it goes without saying. Guys like Snyder and Adele, they've got to play well.
No question. Really, the most consistent players that they've had all season long. Dangadell has been pretty consistent. And then Ray Spalding at the free throw line has been really consistent throughout the course of this season.
There you see the Saturday lineup. We'll be out in Lubbock for Kansas, Texas Tech. And right after our game, it'll be Syracuse here against Duke. And if you like both teams playing zone for 40 minutes, we got a game for you on Saturday. Of course, Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Boeheim coach together. Coach Boeheim, an assistant on Mike Krzyzewski's staffs with USA Basketball.
And one of the reasons I think this zone is working so well for Duke is, one, they're very long, they're very athletic, but it does a great job, the zone, of positioning the big guys under the basket and positioning help. And they got spread out man to man. It was really difficult for them to guard ball screens. In the zone, they don't have to guard a lot of ball screens.
How about that block from Wendell Carter Jr.?
Wendell Carter Jr. does everything. He averages over 2 blocks a game, goes straight up with both hands, and still is able to, with that left hand, block the shot.
Like Krzyzewski told us at shoot-around today, Jay, that not only does Carter obviously have extraordinary talent, but he described him as an elite-level thinker on the court as well.
He's a really smart person, let alone smart basketball player. And there on that wing, little handoff action with Grayson Allen. He's so difficult to defend off that. They ran that a lot early in the season using Marvin Bagley III making that handoff.
Another miss from in close for the Cardinals.
Yeah, there's so many close-in misses, and that gets deflating after a while, especially on the road. When you can't score, there's the shoot behind. It's too easy. I mean, he is so hard to guard right now because he is knocking down seemingly every open shot. He's got the shot, the drive. If you go under, he shoots behind. If you're late, got a quick trigger.
A layup for Spalding. Grayson Allen now has 85 points in his last 4 games, and he's got better than 16 minutes to add to those totals. Lob in for Carter, caught underneath the bucket, and a foul on Mamu.
Here's a little wing handoff. And Grayson Allen coming off for the handoff, then able to turn the corner as his defender runs right into Wendell Carter Jr. And you've got to step up. If you step up, he'll be able to just drop it off, and then just coming right behind. If you go under at all, he's just going to turn and pull up. You know, shot preparation is so good, but his confidence level's off the charts right now.
Let's go down to Maria.
So, Dan, Coach K said that Grayson's last 3 games, he's been playing more instinctively, where in the beginning of the season, he was really worried about making sure the freshmen were comfortable, and he's thankful that Grayson's come on late, and he doesn't think that it would have worked if it was all about the freshmen in the very beginning. So now it's working out because he's playing the way he has played in the past in this Duke uniform.
Yeah, really, Coach K has given Grayson Allen the keys to the car in the last 3 games, now 4 games, and said, do your thing. It's not just about facilitating. You can look to do that if you're feeling it, and he's feeling it right now.
Or the team this young, Coach K gave Grayson Allen the keys to the minivan. But these youngsters are pretty darn good.
And he's knocked down 5 threes in this game tonight. He's got a game-high 21 points.
Does a great job of moving as the ball was being driven baseline by Duval. He did a great job of relocating toward the corner. Then when VJ King turned around, all of a sudden Grayson Allen's not there. And that little stretch of time is what gave him the opportunity to get off that shot. And just, he's been so good the last 3 games coming into this one. So now we have to say 4 games, even though there's plenty of time to go in this one, because he's been outstanding yet again in 25 minutes of action.
He's got all 8 of Duke's points here in the second half. The 5 threes tonight give him 263. One more, he ties Bobby Hurley for 6th. He's going to wind up with more than 2,000 points in his career. And most importantly right now for these Wooden Watch and Collin Sexton of Alabama, one of the 20 late season Wooden Award candidates. He is the only SEC player on that list right now. And one of the terrific freshmen and terrific point guards across the country this year.
Spectacular hair.
It's a very strong hair year on the college basketball landscape. Announcers aside, of course.
It's a choice.
50-31 Duke. The Blue Devils have won 3 in a row. They gutted out a win at Clemson. That game was tied at 57 as Allen gets fouled. The game was tied at 57 at Littlejohn on Sunday. Then the Blue Devils scored the last 9 points of the game in a real slugfest. Clemson, although they lost to Virginia Tech tonight, Tigers got a good team this year.
They do have a good team. It's really unfortunate that Brad Brownell lost Dante Grantham for the season with a knee injury, because that was had the capability of being a second weekend team in the NCAA tournament. I think the Tigers will still make the tournament. They're very good. Their guards are really good. They can really shoot. Gabe DeVoe is an excellent shooter. Marquise Reed. But that was so simple, that last play that Duke ran. It was out of a horn set where you have 2 guys at the elbows, 2 guys in the corner, just hit Wendell Carter, ran a cutter through, and Grayson Allen just took a handoff from him and had an easy lane to the basket to score. Had to foul him to stop him.
Isn't it kind of funny on a team loaded with freshmen that you look at the senior, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I think during the Carolina game. You look at the senior and say, is he the X factor between Duke being a good team and a great team? And Grayson Allen might just be that.
He is, especially when he's playing at this level. You know, coming into this game, Duke's 19-1 on the season when Grayson Allen scores in double figures. And he's been scoring double figures the last 4 games.
Misses the 3, and Dwayne Sutton down with a rebound and a foul by DeLaurier.
And Sutton's a transfer from UNC Asheville. He's Big South Tournament MVP. And UNC Asheville's had some good players there that have transferred out. Andrew Rousey at Marquette was a UNC Asheville player.
Sutton, a redshirt sophomore. 4th foul on DeLaurier. He goes to the bench, and Marquise Bolden back in.
Duke sticking with the 2-3 zone. The wings are up. And Wendell Carter playing out on the wing with Marquise Bolden in the middle. Good pass.
Adele off to Snyder. And the corner 3 will go for Quentin Snyder.
That's a good pass. Wendell Carter Jr. not used to playing the wing in this, or on the side of that 2-3, if you will. And just got caught looking at the ball instead of matching up to the shooter.
Pick and roll, extra pass, and Bolden the slam.
Marquise Bolden starting to get his legs back. Back healthy. Has tired a bit. It's hard to sit out that long and keep in basketball shape.
Sutton way short. Don't know if somebody got a piece of that. And Duval forcing the issue with the other end. Out of bounds, still Duke ball.
Well, Grayson Allen, when he got that ball screen up top, was able to hit the roll man with a little pocket pass, and an excellent pass there by Wendell Carter, and a great job not charging. Good body control.
Carter will put up the scoring and the rebounding, but it's the blocks and the passing. He could make threes, as you said
earlier.
Do
everything.
He's a complete player.
And you know, you almost hesitate to bring this up because Duke's playing so well. You got 54 points in this one. They played the last 4 games now without Marvin Bagley III, who's averaging 21 points and 12 rebounds in ACC play. And for the season, even though it's just barely in scoring, is leading the league as a freshman in scoring and rebounding. That's what's sitting on the bench over there to make this team even better.
What an award candidate. There are the numbers. Lots of firsts in the ACC. Sprained knee. Was a little more active at shoot around today than he's been in recent days, so it does appear that progress is being made. And as you said earlier tonight, the term precautionary has been used by the Duke staff.
Yes. And if I had that kind of bank account awaiting me, there would be a lot of precaution.
The Blue Devils, after tonight, we told you they've got Syracuse on the weekend, then they go to Blacksburg to take on the Hokies, and as always, they will finish with North Carolina. The game will be here in Cameron.
Louisville has got to flatten this zone out and start playing out of the corners. They're up too high right now. And I think if they can get down on the baseline and flatten this out, they're going to have a lot more opportunities to get shots. But right now at this pace, this is Duke's pace to salt this thing away.
Second 3 of the half for Quentin Snyder, but it's still a healthy 17-point lead for the Blue Devils. Allen guarded by Adele. Now the switch, and it's Spalding. Allen for 3. Open look in the corner, but the 3 not there for Darius Perry, the freshman from Powder Springs, Georgia.
Well, there it was. Just along the baseline, there's some openings. And they moved the ball. Louisville did. Got a wide open shot. Perry just didn't knock it down. And, boy, Perry is so quick and athletic, and he's a very good on-ball defender. Right now, having to chase Gary Trent around.
Still Duke ball. Perry and the rest of the freshmen for Louisville not getting a ton of minutes in this game. We've seen Perry sparingly. We've seen, I don't know if we've seen Jordan Wara yet tonight.
Yeah, he was in the first half when Mike Patrick was with him.
Yep. Allen, another one.
Duke runs the same alignment out of bounds underneath, and they run different things out of it. And because the alignment's the same, the defense doesn't really know what's coming. Oftentimes when you run different alignments, your scouting report will let the players know, hey, in this alignment, this is what they're doing.
Duval fouled and heading to the free throw line. Will step aside. Duke is up 20.
Out of that 3 along the baseline alignment, Grayson Allen comes from the top, got a screen, and he is always ready to shoot. Having a great game.
Hold together. A little to the left.
2 in a row, and don't look now, but look who's sitting on top of the Big 12 standings. And if Kansas can win in Lubbock on Saturday, they'll be 2 up with 2 to go, and they will clinch at least a share of their 14th consecutive regular season championship.
Just remarkable. One of the great achievements in college basketball history to win 14, if they're able to do it, 14 consecutive conference championships regular season is rarefied air. And I know people are going to say, wait a minute, UCLA won national championships in addition to winning back then it was a Pac-8. But this is a new era, and for Kansas to do what they've done is really a remarkable achievement.
They put up 104 on Oklahoma on Monday. Granted, the Sooners are really struggling right now, but 104 is 104.
It is, and that ball looked like it was in the bucket when it was thrown up there.
Spalding will get credit for it. Snyder the assist.
But you had to think with Kansas, if you can't get the Jayhawks this year, when are you going to get them? They seem so vulnerable this year, but that is one. There's a championship DNA in that team, especially with a guy like Devontae Graham, who I think will wind up being the Big 12 Player of the Year. As great as Trae Young has been, I think voters are going to honor not only great play, but winning and great play.
Who's the National Player of the Year? Who's it going to be? Is it wide open now?
I don't know. I'd say wide open. Look, I've said for weeks and weeks now, I think it's Jalen Brunson of Villanova. I don't think anybody's been better than Jalen Brunson. He is shooting well over 50. I think he's shooting 54% from the field, the lefty. And, he's averaging like 19.5 points per game. He's leading his team in assists. He's an excellent defender. Villanova takes such great they do such a great job getting matchups and exploiting those matchups, especially Brunson. Like, he can post a guard, go one-on-one in the post. Duke with that 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure back into the 2-3 zone. Now, I think Louisville's a little too high on the floor.
And a shot forced up at the end of the shot clock.
Another good defensive possession for Duke. And they're really settling into this zone. And one of the things I like about their play in the zone is you're always playing against your opponent's second best offense. There's no zone offenses as good as a man offense. And so you're electing to play against an offense that your opponents do not practice all the time.
Marquise Bolden with a slam, and then a terrific rebound.
And Mike Krzyzewski telling his team, hold it up, run clock. There's no reason to be in a rush with a 23-point lead. They're not going to take the air out of the ball, but there's no reason to rush down and take a quick one.
Allen coming off a couple of screens. Duval with the ball, and the shot clock down to 6. Fires one through the wickets into the crowd. Well, back to the Player of the Year conversation. For several weeks, this was the conversation. Marvin Bagley III, Trae Young. Looked like Young took the lead. Now Young has struggled by his standards, has not shot the ball nearly as well recently as he did earlier. You mentioned Brunson. If winning is valued, Brunson's got to be in the conversation.
Well, not only winning, but the numbers he's putting up. I mean, he's one of the 5 most efficient players in the country. Certainly Marvin Bagley III is not only in that conversation, he's up at near the top of that list. DeAndre Ayton of Arizona has put himself in that conversation. But I've had Jalen Brunson at the top of the heap for a while now. I do think even though Trae Young has struggled, he has still done so many good things. I mean, there's been some diving off the bandwagon because his team has hit the skids. How do you stop that guy? He's ridiculous.
He's so good.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that some of these players are 19 years old.
They're going to be wealthy 20-year-olds. Snyder, long look out to King. Adele with a challenge three. Spalding with a follow.
Well, Ray Spalding has a lot of ability. I think he's got the ability to be a special player. He's starting to show that on a consistent basis at the highest level. His rebounding has been excellent all season long. He's scoring at a much higher clip this year. Great fake.
And great block by Spalding. And then a challenge inside into Mahmoud with a hard foul.
Well, Ray Spalding is athletic and he's ridiculously long. He's got a 7'4" wingspan. So goes straight up. Nobody boxes him out as a weak side rebounder against the zone. And that can be a problem sometimes when the wings are up. If you're not moving as the ball moves on a reversal, you can get caught on the glass.
Fourth foul on Mahmoud. He's coming out. Ryan McMahon in for the Cardinals.
You know, it's not common to see a big guy like Wendell Carter Jr. have such a fluid shooting touch. You know, he has it, and you know who's got it even better than Wendell Carter Jr. is. Have you seen DeAndre Ayton shoot the ball?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how fluid his motion is. He shoots like a guard. It's beautiful.
Carter is 18 for 36 on three-pointers this year.
That's 50%, man.
Give or take. Doesn't force them. Obviously, it's got to be within the flow of the offense if they don't get anything else. He's taken one. He's made it tonight. And everyone that I've seen, they're almost identical. They're from the top, right, straight on to the basket. And he steps into it smoothly and looks confident shooting it.
My favorite thing about Wendell Carter Jr. is how he rebounds with both hands. It seems like every time he goes up, it's with both hands. Good pass.
White. That would have been assist number 6 on the night for Carter had that shot gone down.
Could be looking at triple-double territory.
Snyder off to Spalding. And Duke ball. Nice save by White.
Smart decision to pull it back out.
O'Connell with a shot fake, a drive. Carter with a slam.
You're running out of superlatives. That was just a hammer dunk.
Good decision there. He could have swatted that one, but knew it would be goaltending if he did.
Well, Ray Spalding right there to get an offensive rebound. Couldn't grab it. And Jack White came away with it. I mean, how many times have we seen Louisville in a position to grab a rebound and they didn't do it? I mean, it's been a microcosm of this game for the Cardinals.
Rebounds are 38-24 Blue Devils.
Dominated on the glass and unable to score against this 2-3 zone. No rhythm at all. And this has been a thrashing. Largely at the hands of Grayson Allen and Wendell Carter Jr. Hello.
Gatorade G2, half the sugar with all the electrolytes.
After that game, and Auburn all over Alabama, 90-71. Bruce Pearl right now is living in the moment. Dan?
All right, Dan, thank you. And Auburn comfortably out in front of the SEC standings. Look at the mishmash in the middle there with 5 programs at 8 and 7. You had some nice, speaking of the SEC, you had some nice things to say about Andy Kennedy in your online column today.
Andy Kennedy did a great job at Ole Miss. Won over half his games in the SEC. He's the only coach in Ole Miss history to have done that. And his run there was very, very successful. And look, you know, everybody's got it. We've all got shelf lives. And sometimes it's time to move on for a school, for a coach. But if anybody's looking for a really good coach, one, Tom Crean is available and sitting in the studio, and he is a great coach, and I think so is Andy Kennedy, late of Ole Miss now.
Duke is now up by 29 as they turn it over again. The Cardinals do, but then the Blue Devils give it right back.
Yeah, one of the few errors in judgment. Duke should have just brought the ball up, run some clock. This game is essentially over.
Spalding into Sutton and a chance for a three-point play. So if you're Louisville, where do you go from here? I mean, still 6 minutes to go, but they're down by 27. This will drop them to 18-10, 8-7 in the conference, and they got to go to Virginia Tech on Saturday, then come home to face Virginia after that.
Well, I think the last 6:08 of regulation, they just want to show some fight. You know, you don't want to wave the white flag in this, even though the outcome seems like it's determined. And I think it is determined. But you can find something this last 6 minutes. Put something together where you feel a little bit better about yourself. This has not been a good night. It's been a bad couple of days for Louisville, period. But for this team in particular, it has not been a good night.
When you look at Joe Lunardi's bracketology, 4 programs have separated themselves from the rest. Virginia Tech with a nice win tonight, so they will likely move up. You could have some, say quarterfinal games, even second round games in Brooklyn at the ACC tournament, where teams could conceivably be fighting for their postseason lives, their at-large lives, if you will. O'Connell, nice pass, and DeLaurier travels.
They also seemed like they got 20 offensive rebounds on that one play. Grayson Allen missed a couple wide open shots, which he's not done all game long. And Mike Krzyzewski not particularly pleased with the focus of his team over the last minute or so.
Duke has 12 offensive rebounds. Louisville has 18 defensive rebounds. So Duke is getting 40% of their misses. And for David Padgett's liking, that's just way too high. You just can't give up that high a percentage on the defensive glass.
Well, that's about the average that Duke's had all year. They've been in the high 30s and one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. And they're doing that in this game, though, without Marvin Bagley III, who averages 4 offensive rebounds.
Another Louisville turnover.
But Javin DeLaurier's come into this game, and actually in the last couple games, this one he had 6 rebounds in the first half. The game against Clemson, he had 10 rebounds in that game. So he's played some really solid minutes in Marvin Bagley's absence.
8 rebounds in 18 minutes tonight for DeLaurier. Slapped away by Sutton, and recovery by DeLaurier. But Adele will get the follow to go and draw the foul.
It's been a sloppy couple of minutes for both teams. But Javin DeLaurier is really athletic. That was a terrific block, and then Dengadell picks up the rebound off the floor. But Dwayne Sutton went in. But when you're trying to avoid a shot block, you got to go right into the chest of the shot blocker.
Number 5 on DeLaurier, but he'll get a nice hand as he comes out.
I think Duke really found something with this, the way they're playing this zone defense. They've been really good defensively the last 3 games. The numbers say they've been really good the last 12 games, but a number of those games, I think 4 of those games were against Pittsburgh, Wake Forest, and so there were some numbers in there that you'd say, well, wait a minute, that might not hold true against everybody, but the last 3 and then into this one, the defense has been so effective, the way they're mixing full court pressure back into the zone, the length of it, and they've rebounded really well out of it.
Giving up an average of just 59 points per game. Their last 3 wins against Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, and Clemson, and on pace perhaps for giving up around 59, maybe even less than that tonight against Louisville.
And they were giving up in the mid-70s before that. David Padgett has done a very good job with this team. It has not been easy with all that has gone on at Louisville in the past 4 or 5 months.
Tipped away by Allen. 28 now.
Well, he's had another great game, and that has to be a real lift for this Duke team as they head down the stretch, that they've got a confident and productive Grayson Allen.
Numbers again. And Trent with a flush. Boy, this is a schoolyard game right now, and it's a one-sided one.
Yeah, it's unusual to see Louisville in this position. This has been a good team all season long, and they don't look it at all right now.
Adele. Perry for three. Now, as we mentioned off the top of the show and talked about in the first half, a very dark day for the Louisville program yesterday. With the 2013 National Championship being vacated, the banner coming down. Now they're getting blown out here tonight. These are not the best of times within the Cardinal family.
And that's one of the major issues with I think some of the policies that you see within the NCAA is that the punishment winds up hammering people that weren't involved. But that's the way it is, and that's what they have to deal with.
All Blue Devils tonight. They must have a dozen dunks, and they're up 26.
So why isn't he the latest out of San Antonio? SportsCenter after the game. We're back to Dan now.
All right, John, thank you. All Duke tonight. Everett Cameron up 78-52, never really challenged. A Duke throwback tonight, but not Billis, says Mr. Anderson.
You know, John Anderson is a Missouri graduate. At least I think he graduated.
McMahon. Jordan Goldwire, the freshman from Norcross, Georgia, getting some minutes here at the point here to close this one out.
Well, Jordan Goldwire is a good shooter. He's strong. You know, the Duke coaches didn't really see him play in person in high school. They saw him on tape, needed an extra guard. They've been very pleased with his progress. He's a good player, playing behind a lot of good players.
Anas Mahmoud with his first points of the night.
Louisville wearing those throwback uniforms. They didn't wear black back in 1983, but this is the 35th anniversary of the 1983 Louisville Final Four team that had the McCray brothers and Milt Wagner, Billy Thompson, Charles Jones. That was a great team.
That came in here and beat Duke. That's why they are wearing these throwback uniforms tonight.
Lancaster Gordon was on that team. They were called the Doctors of Dunk.
For good reason.
Yeah, we found out that night. It was good reason.
Yeah. Saturday we'll be in Lubbock for a Sonic blockbuster. Number 8 Kansas, number 6 Texas Tech. Huge one of the Big 12. And at 6:15 Eastern right here in Durham. It'll be Duke hosting Syracuse. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app. Inside the final 2 minutes, Duke up 26 points on their way to their 4th consecutive win.
Well, this puts even more pressure on Louisville in their last 3 conference games. They still have work to do to feel comfortable that a bid will be secured on Selection Sunday as an at-large team.
Meanwhile, look at Duke's finishing schedule in the regular season. We told you about Syracuse. Then they'll take on the Hokies in Blacksburg. And then how much fun will the rematch be? Carolina and Duke here from Cameron after Carolina beat the Blue Devils in Chapel Hill a couple of weeks ago. Carolina another win tonight up at the Carrier Dome.
Well, North Carolina has been really impressive. And a team that doesn't seem like it should be a great rebounding team based upon their personnel. But it has been the best rebounding team in this league by far. They're out rebounding opponents by 11.
Do you think John Anderson meant Grant Hill when he was talking about a throwback Dookie?
He should have, because Grant Hill, there's not been a better person that's ever come out of this program than Grant Hill. And he's a finalist for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. And I think it's a no-brainer. Grant Hill is a Hall of Famer. His first, and not only his college career was magnificent, but his first 7 years in the NBA before he was injured, his numbers were right there with guys like LeBron James, Oscar Robertson, Larry Bird as far as points, rebounds, and assists. Like Grant Hill, before he had a long career, even injured, but before he was injured, he was one of the great players in the history of the game.
Absolutely. Bolden. And yet another dunk.
It adds another dimension to this Duke team to have a big guy that can move and perform on the glass. take up space like Marquise Bolden. He's getting more and more confidence as he gets more and more playing time.
And the Blue Devils will run the clock out. A very impressive performance for Duke, as they win going away 82-56 to go to 11-4 in the ACC, 23-5 overall. The Cardinals held to a season low 56 as they get throttled here tonight. For Jay Billis, Maria Taylor, and our outstanding ESPN crew, I'm Dave Schulman saying thanks for watching. It is time now for SportsCenter. Coming up next, so long from Durham, North Carolina.